The sun hung low in the sky, casting an eerie orange glow over the abandoned planet below. The air was dry and still, the once thriving world now reduced to ruins. The wind whispered through the broken buildings, carrying the scent of old memories. Among the debris, a lone figure moved steadily, his boots crunching on the cracked earth. Alex, a battle-hardened veteran, had seen his fair share of war and destruction, but this place was different. There was something unsettling about Itan, ancient silence that felt almost unnatural. Alex had come to this forsaken planet on a mission. A distress signal had been intercepted by the human fleet, its origins unknown. They had sent Alex, one of their best, to investigate. What he found was a world lost to time, its people long gone, their cities nothing but skeletons of the past. But as Alex explored, something caught his eye, small creature, stumbling through the rubble. At first, he thought it was a trick of the light, a shadow moving where there should have been none. But as he stepped closer, he realized it was real, a baby dragon. Its scales shimmered in the dying sunlight, a strange mix of silver and green. The dragon's eyes were wide with fear, and it looked up at Alex with a silent plea for help. It was small, no bigger than a dog, but the sense of ancient power it exuded was undeniable. Alex paused, unsure of what to do. He had fought many battles, faced many enemies, but never had he encountered something like this, a baby dragon. How was it even possible? Dragons were the stuff of legend, stories told around campfires to scare children. They weren't real, were they? But this dragon was no fairy tale. Its breathing was quick and shallow, its tiny body trembling. It had clearly been through something traumatic, just like the world around it. Alex's instincts kicked in. He couldn't just leave it here, alone and vulnerable. Slowly, he crouched down to the creature's level, trying to calm it with his voice. He spoke softly, as if reassuring a wounded animal. "Hey there, little one. You're safe now. I'm not going to hurt you." To his surprise, the baby dragon didn't flee. Instead, it stared at him, its gaze steady and intense. It seemed to recognize something in him. Perhaps it was the veteran's quiet strength. Or maybe it was the desperation of the situation. Whatever it was, the dragon made no move to escape. In fact, it took a tentative step forward, as if asking for help. Alex hesitated for a moment, then extended his hand. The dragon sniffed it carefully before nuzzling against his palm. There was something incredibly tender about the moment, a stark contrast to the cold, desolate landscape surrounding them. Without thinking, Alex gently picked the dragon up. It was surprisingly light for its size, and he could feel the warmth of its body through his gloves. As he stood up, he noticed something strange. The dragon seemed to be leading him somewhere, its head turning toward the distance as if it had a purpose. Alex followed its gaze, and his eyes landed on something even more unexpected, a large, abandoned spaceship, half buried in the dirt. Its hull was scorched, as though it had been through a battle, and the once proud ship now sat there, abandoned and forgotten. The ship was massive, its sleek, alien design unlike anything Alex had seen before. It was clear that this was no ordinary spacecraft. This was something ancient, something far beyond the technology Alex was familiar with. The baby dragon, still cradled in his arms, seemed to sense something about the ship, its body tensing as they drew closer. Alex's heart began to race. He had expected danger on this mission, but nothing like this. What was this ship, and why? Had the dragon led him here? His instincts told him that the answers lay within. He had no idea what he might find inside, but he knew one thing: the journey he had just begun would change everything. With the baby dragon's guidance, Alex made his way toward the ship's entrance. It was an enormous hatch, rusted and covered in debris, but it seemed to pulse with a faint energy. As he reached the door, it slid open with a low, mechanical groan. The interior was dark, the air stale with age. Alex stepped inside, cautiously, his hand still holding the dragon close to his chest. The ship smelled of metal and forgotten time, and the low hum of its systems was the only sound that greeted him. The baby dragon squirmed in his arms, clearly more at ease now that they were inside. It began to wriggle its way free, eager to explore the ship. Alex let it go, watching as the dragon scampered ahead, its small form darting into the shadows. His heart skipped a beat. This was it, the moment he had been waiting for. What secrets lay hidden within this ancient vessel? What had the dragon led him to? And what connection did the baby dragon have to this place? The answers seemed just out of reach, like a puzzle waiting to be solved. Alex took a deep breath and followed the dragon deeper into the ship, the sense of unease growing stronger with each step. The ship was vast, and it felt alive with energy, as though it had been waiting for someone to come and uncover its mysteries. As they moved further into the ship's belly, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't just any abandoned vessel. The ship held something far more important than he could imagine on. The baby dragon was at the center of it all. His journey had just begun, and already the stakes were higher than he could have ever expected. He could feel the weight of something ancient pressing down on him, and the secrets of the galaxy seemed to be right within his grasp. But for now, all he could do was follow the dragon and hope that the path it led him on didn't destroy them both. Alex stepped deeper into the abandoned ship, his boots echoing against the cold, metallic floors. The ship was unlike anything he had ever encountered before, its sleek, alien design seeming both beautiful and unsettling at the same time. Strange symbols adorned the walls, flickering faintly in the dim light. The air was heavy with the scent of rust and decay, as if the ship had been abandoned for centuries. The baby dragon, now darting ahead of him, seemed to grow more animated the further they went. It was as though it recognized something here, something familiar, something important. Alex watched as it led him through a series of twisting corridors, their surfaces covered in strange markings that looked almost like an ancient language. The walls seemed to pulse with a faint, glowing energy, as though the ship itself were alive. Alex's curiosity was piqued, but a sense of foreboding gnawed at him. Every step he took seemed to draw him further into the heart of the ship, where something more sinister awaited. The deeper they went, the more he could feel the weight of something ancient pressing down on him. It wasn't just the ship that was strange, it was the very energy that seemed to fill the space around him, a presence he couldn't quite place. The dragon paused at the entrance to a large chamber, its head turning to look back at Alex. Its eyes were wide with excitement, as if urging him to follow. Hesitant but determined, Alex moved forward, the door opening with a soft hiss as he approached. Inside the room, he found rows of what appeared to be cryogenic pods, one occupied by what looked like alien beings, their bodies suspended in a state of suspended animation. Alex felt a chill run down his spine. This was no ordinary ship. These were not just survivors of a crash, they were something else entirely. He stepped closer to one of the pods, his eyes scanning the figure inside. The alien appeared humanoid, with smooth, dark skin and features that seemed both familiar and alien at the same time. The creature's eyes were closed, but there was something haunting about its expression, as if it were in the middle of a deep slumber, unaware of the passage of time. A low hum filled the air as Alex examined the pods, his fingers brushing against the cool glass. It was then that he noticed something strange. Each pod was connected to a central control panel, glowing with an eerie, pulsating light. He approached the panel, trying to make sense of the alien symbols displayed on the screen. But they made no sense to him. Whatever this ship was, it was far beyond anything Alex had encountered in his time as a soldier. The baby dragon, now perched on a nearby console, let out a soft chirp as if sensing Alex's confusion. It hopped down and scurried to the control panel, its small claws tapping against the surface. To Alex's surprise, the dragon seemed to know exactly what it was doing. It pressed a series of symbols with remarkable precision, causing the ship's systems to hum to life. The cryogenic pods began to stir, their occupants slowly starting to awaken. Alex backed away, his heart racing. He had no idea what was happening, but he knew it couldn't be good. The ship was clearly no ordinary vessel. It was a weapon, or at least it had been designed as one. The alien race that had created this ship had left behind more than just memories. They had left a legacy of power and destruction. The baby dragon, still watching Alex with its intelligent eyes, seemed to be aware of the danger. It chirped again, more urgently this time, as though it were trying to warn him. Alex's gaze flickered to the pods once more, and he realized with a sinking feeling that these were not just random passengers, they were soldiers, warriors, and possibly the remnants of an army. The ship had once been part of a vast galactic force, and these beings had been frozen in time, awaiting a revival that was never meant to happen. A sudden noise broke the silence, a hiss of air, followed by the soft thud of something shifting in the shadows. Alex spun around, his hand instinctively reaching for his weapon. But there was nothing there, just the quiet hum of the ship's systems coming back to life. Still, he couldn't shake the feeling that they were not alone. Something was watching them, lurking in the darkness. The baby dragon suddenly leaped into the air, its wings unfurling in a burst of energy as it flew toward the far end of the room. Alex followed its gaze and saw a door opening, revealing a darker, more foreboding section of the ship. Something inside the room was calling to them, and Alex couldn't help but feel that they had just stumbled upon something far greater than either of them could understand. Alex hesitated, unsure whether he should continue, but the dragon, as if sensing his doubt, let out a soft, determined growl. It was clear they had come this far, and there was no turning back now. With a deep breath, Alex followed the dragon into the darkness as they moved deeper into the ship. Alex's mind raced. What kind of ship had they found? What kind of power had it once wielded? And what was the connection between the baby dragon and this long-forgotten vessel? Answers were just beyond his reach, but the danger was real, and Alex could feel it closing in on him. Whatever had happened to this ship, whatever had happened to the people inside it wasn't just part of the past. It was something that had been waiting for a long time, and now it was awake. The truth was out there, hidden in the shadows of the ship. But Alex wasn't sure if he was ready to face it, or if anyone ever could. Asterisk. Alex's footsteps echoed through the dark corridors of the ship as he followed the baby dragon deeper into the unknown. The creature seemed to know exactly where it was going, darting through the ship with an almost unnatural speed and agility. It was as if it had been here before, as if it recognized every twist and turn of the ship's complex labyrinth. The deeper Alex went, the more he felt the weight of the ship's history pressing down on him. The walls, still marked with alien symbols, seemed to pulse with energy, their light flickering like the heartbeat of a sleeping giant. He couldn't shake the feeling that the ship had once been a place of great power, a weapon capable of destroying entire worlds. And yet, here it was abandoned, forgotten, like a relic of an ancient war. But there was more to this ship than just its history. There was something about the baby dragon that Alex couldn't ignore. It wasn't just a creature of legend or a random survivor. There was an intelligence in its eyes, something ancient and profound. And the way it had led him to this ship, it was no coincidence. The dragon was connected to the ship, and Alex could feel it in his bones. The baby dragon stopped in front of a large, reinforced door at the end of the corridor. It turned back to look at Alex, its eyes shining with an almost knowing expression. Alex, sensing that this was where the answers lay, stepped forward. He pressed a button on the wall beside the door, and it slowly opened with a low, mechanical groan. Inside was a room unlike anything Alex had seen before. The walls were lined with more of those strange alien symbols, but they were not just markings, they were part of the ship's control systems. At the center of the room was a massive pedestal, upon which rested a glowing crystal. The crystal pulsed with an eerie light, casting long shadows across the room. The air around it seemed to hum with energy, and Alex could feel the power radiating. From it, the baby dragon, now hovering in front of the pedestal, seemed to grow agitated. It chirped, flapping its wings as if it were trying to communicate something to Alex. As he stepped closer, the dragon darted toward the pedestal, landing on it and curling round the crystal. It let out a soft growl, and suddenly, Alex understood. The dragon wasn't just a creature, was a key. The crystal in front of them was not just a source of power, it was a lock, a safeguard to something far greater. Alex could sense that the dragon had been guarding this secret for ages, and now it had brought him here to unlock it. He felt a rush of urgency as the dragon nudged the crystal with its head, as though asking Alex to take the next step. With a hesitant hand, Alex reached out and touched the crystal. The moment his fingers made contact, a surge of energy coursed through him. It wasn't just a physical shock, it was as if the very essence of the ship, the knowledge of an ancient civilization, was flowing into him. His mind was bombarded with images, visions of long-forgotten battles, of alien empires rising and falling, of creatures like the dragon being used as both weapon and protector. The dragon's kind had once been revered, feared, and ultimately destroyed by the very forces that had created this ship. As the visions faded, Alex was left with a profound realization. The baby dragon was not just any creature, was the last of its kind, a living relic of a race that had once been the most powerful in the galaxy. The ship was a weapon of unimaginable destruction, and the dragon was the key to unlocking its full potential. It wasn't just a survivor. It was a symbol of a forgotten era. The realization hit Alex like a punch to the gut. He had always known that the galaxy was a dangerous place, but he had never imagined something like this. The ship, the dragon, it was all connected to something far larger than he could have ever anticipated. This was not just about finding answers. This was about the future of the galaxy itself. The baby dragon looked up at him, its eyes filled with an ancient sorrow. It had been guarding this secret for centuries, waiting for someone to come and understand its true purpose. Alex now understood that he wasn't just here to uncover the truth about the ship. He was here to decide what would happen next. The weight of the decision pressed down on him. What should he do with the knowledge he had just gained? Should he use the ship's power to defend humanity, or should he destroy it to keep it from falling into the wrong hands? The dragon, sensing Alex's inner turmoil, let out a soft, comforting growl, as if offering its support. It wasn't just a weapon, it was a companion, a guide, and Alex realized that whatever choice he made, he would not make it alone. As Alex turned away from the pedestal, a faint sound echoed through the ship, a low, almost imperceptible hum. The ship was waking up. Its systems were coming online, and it was clear that whatever had been dormant for so long was now stirring. The question was no longer if the ship would awaken, but when it would become unstoppable, with the dragon by his side. Alex knew that. He had only just scratched the surface of the ship's power. The journey ahead would not be easy, but it was a journey he had no choice but to face. The fate of the galaxy might depend on the choices he made next. The dragon chirped again, more urgently this time, as if urging Alex to move. Without hesitation, Alex followed, the weight of the decision ahead hanging heavy on his shoulders. He had unlocked the secret of the baby dragon, but now the real battle was just beginning. The ship hummed with life as Alex and the baby dragon made their way deeper into its heart. The glow of the crystal from the previous room seemed to linger in his mind, its power still resonating within him. Every step felt heavier, as if the ship itself was aware of his presence, drawing him toward something monumental. The walls, now pulsing in rhythm with the ship's awakening systems, seemed to close in around him, guiding him down darkened corridors that seemed to go on forever. The baby dragon led the way, its small wings fluttering in excitement. Its movements were quick, darting through the shadows, almost as though it knew exactly where to go. Alex, now feeling the full weight of the situation, hesitated. He could feel the air growing colder, the tension building with every step. This was no longer a simple discovery, it was an unraveling mystery, a tale of ancient power and long-buried secrets that were finally surfacing. As they reached a large, circular chamber, Alex stopped in his tracks. The room was vast, filled with holographic projections of star systems and alien landscapes. The center of the room was dominated by an enormous structure, something Alex could only describe as a control nexus. It was a massive, intricate network of alien technology, its core surrounded by a glowing, pulsating energy. The walls were lined with hundreds of screens, displaying vast star maps and alien data, some of which Alex couldn't even begin to comprehend. It was as though he had stepped into the heart of an entire civilization's knowledge. The baby dragon, now perched on a nearby platform, chirped as it stared at the central control nexus. It seemed to recognize something, its gaze locked onto a specific console. Alex followed its lead, his heart pounding as he stepped closer. As he touched the console, the room responded. The holographic screens flickered, and the air buzzed with energy, as though the ship were waking up fully for the first time in centuries. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the chamber, deep and alien. It wasn't a sound Alex could understand, but the tone was unmistakable, commanding, powerful, and ancient. The voice seemed to vibrate through the walls, causing the very air to tremble. Alex froze. This wasn't just a ship, was a weapon that had been waiting for its creators to return. The voice spoke again, this time in a language that Alex could partially understand, as if the ship itself was somehow translating its message. The legacy of the Draco must be protected. The final battle is near. The key must be wielded. Alex's mind raced as the words sank in. Draco, the dragon. The ship was built by the Draco, a long-lost alien race that had once ruled the galaxy, with unparalleled power. And now, it seemed, the ship was awakening to fulfill a purpose that Alex could not yet fully grasp. The final battle. What battle, and what key? His thoughts were interrupted as a new screen flickered to life in front of him, showing a holographic map of the galaxy. But this was no ordinary map. It was different. The star systems displayed on the map were marked with strange symbols, each one glowing with a red hue. The dragon, who had been silent until now, let out a soft growl as it hopped from the platform and approached the map. Alex followed its gaze to a particular star system, one that was marked with a symbol he hadn't seen before. It was an ancient sigil, one that seemed to resonate with a deep, forgotten power. The map zoomed in, showing a small, uninhabited planet at the edge of the system. The planet was marked with a single word, Zithar, Zithar. The name felt familiar to Alex, but he couldn't place it. He had never heard of a planet by that name. The dragon chirped again, its eyes locked onto the symbol, as if urging Alex to make a decision. This was it. The truth had been laid bare before him. This planet Zithar held the key to everything. But what exactly did it hold? What was so important about this seemingly forgotten world? The voice spoke once more, this time with more urgency. The Zithar system must be reclaimed. The Draco legacy must rise again. The key must be wielded by the Chosen One. Alex's mind swirled. The ship had been created by the Draco, a race that had vanished long ago. It was a weapon built to protect their legacy, and it was clear that the ship had been waiting for someone like Alex to unlock its full potential. But the dragon was the key. The Draco had known it. They had built it. And now Alex was tied to their fate. He turned to the baby dragon, whose eyes gleamed with a knowing intelligence. The creature was no mere pet, it was a guardian, a protector, a symbol of the Draco legacy. And it had led Alex here, to this chamber, to this moment. There was no turning back now. With a deep breath, Alex took one last look at the map. The path ahead was clear, but it wasn't a simple journey. It was a mission to reclaim a lost legacy, to unlock the power of an ancient race, and to fight in a battle that had been brewing for centuries. But the question still lingered in the air. Was Alex truly the Chosen One, or had he merely stumbled into a war that was far beyond his control? The baby dragon let out a soft cry, as if reading his thoughts. It was time to make a decision. The galaxy's fate hung in the balance, and Alex was about to step into the heart of an ancient conflict. With a sense of resolve, Alex made his choice. They were going to HFY Asterisk. The ship's systems hummed with a rising intensity, as though the very walls of the vessel were alive with anticipation. Alex stood in the heart of the control chamber, staring at the map of the galaxy as it zoomed in on the mysterious planet Zithar. The voice, still echoing in his mind, lingered with a chilling finality. The key must be wielded by the Chosen One. His pulse quickened. He had always been a soldier, accustomed to following orders, but this was different. There were no clear answers, no direct path to victory, only vague prophecies and a dying ship full of alien technology that had been left to rot for centuries. The baby dragon, perched at his side, seemed to sense his unease. Its large, intelligent eyes met his, and Alex felt an unspoken bond form between them. This creature, this ancient guardian, had led him here for a reason. But what exactly was that reason? The voice continued to echo in his mind. The legacy of the Draco must rise again. Alex's thoughts raced. The Draco were gone, their civilization destroyed by an enemy so powerful that even their advanced technology couldn't withstand it. And now he was being asked to wield their power. Could he do it? Was he strong enough? And even if he was, what did it mean for humanity if the Draco's legacy returned? Are we really ready for this? Alex muttered to himself, more to the dragon than anyone else. The creature chirped softly, as if offering its silent reassurance. It was as if it understood the weight of the decision, and it wasn't about to let Alex back away from it now, before Alex could process his thoughts further. The ship's systems suddenly shifted. The once dormant screens flickered to life, displaying cryptic data and symbols that Alex couldn't decipher. A new map appeared, showing several locations within the Sci-fi system, all glowing with the same ominous red hue. One of the points on the map seemed to pulse more intensely than the others. Drawing Alex's attention, he moved closer to the screen, his hand hovering over the controls. There, at the center of Zithar, was something that could only be described as an enormous structure. It wasn't a city or a monument, it was something else, something far darker. The structure appeared to have been buried beneath the surface of the planet for millennia, its purpose forgotten by time. Yet the map suggested that something or someone was waiting there. The dragon growled lowly in its chest, an unmistakable sign of warning. Alex knew the stakes had just risen even higher. It wasn't just a matter of reclaiming the Draco legacy. It was about stopping a power that was waiting to be unleashed. The structures on Zithar were more than just ruins. They were traps, set by the Draco themselves, designed to protect their most dangerous weapons. Weapons that, if placed in the wrong hands, could end the galaxy in an instant. But who else would seek this power? The Draco were gone, and with them, their enemies. Or so Alex thought. Suddenly, the screens around him flickered again, displaying an encrypted message. This time, it was in a language Alex didn't recognize. The symbols danced across the screen, like an alien code, but his gut told him that the message was urgent. It was as though the ship, with all its ancient intelligence, was trying to warn him before Alex could decipher the message. The ship's lights dimmed, and an alarm blared, sending a shock of adrenaline through his veins. The baby dragon hissed, flapping its wings in alarm. Alex grabbed his weapon, but the feeling in his gut only grew stronger. "Something's coming," Alex said aloud, his voice steady despite the growing uncertainty. He turned to the dragon, who had already taken flight. Circling the room, the dragon's eyes locked onto a distant point, its gaze unwavering. Alex followed its lead, his heart pounding in his chest. The ship had been dormant for centuries, but now it was waking up, and whatever had been lying in wait was starting to stir. The walls began to tremble. Alex's grip tightened on his weapon as the ship shook, the echoes of the long-forgotten battles of the Draco filling the air like the ghost of an ancient war. It was clear that the ship wasn't just waking up, it was preparing for something. But what? Suddenly, the ship's external sensors activated, a map of the surrounding space flickering to life. Through the viewport, Alex could see it, a fleet of ships, vast and dark, emerging from the depths of space. Their silhouette was unmistakably ancient enemy, one that Alex had never seen before but felt inexplicably familiar. They were massive, their forms covered in intricate markings that seemed to pulse with malevolent energy. The Draco's enemies had returned. Alex's heart sank. The voice, the cryptic messages, the ancient warnings they had all been preparing him for this moment. The Draco's enemies were back, and they had been waiting for the right time to strike. They had been drawn to the ship, to its ancient technology, and they were now headed towards Zythar. The decision that had once felt like a distant possibility was now a reality. The ship, the dragon, the legacy of the Dracoid was all part of a greater galactic conflict that was far from over. Alex turned to the dragon, his resolve hardening. "We don't have much time. We have to get to Zythar before they do." The baby dragon chirped in agreement, its wings flapping as it flew toward the ship's control center. Alex followed, his mind already racing through the possibilities. The ship was not just a relic, it was a weapon. And now, he was its commander. With the enemy fleet on its way, Alex knew there was no turning back. He had been chosen, but the path ahead was fraught with danger. The battle for Zythar would determine the fate of not just humanity, but the entire galaxy.